We all do it, okay? But if you're not gonna finish, then why even bother? So let me help you finish. But if you want it and you're scared to do it, I'm gonna help you finish. Buying that project car that you want. And if you're wondering why trust a guy like me, it's simple. The more you do something in life, the easier it gets. And well, I have bought over 50 cars. So I've gotten pretty comfortable with buying used enthusiast cars and all the nonsense that comes along with it, because there's always something.
Oh, dang it. Oh, dang it.
But you know what happens when you get a little bit too comfortable? You slip up, you start to trust people, and you make mistakes. All right, so the first rule is to support the YouTube creators that you like, because ad rev essentially pays nothing. So did you notice in that intro all the new Drivers Era shirts I was wearing? Well, that's because we've restocked the store with all new designs, t-shirts, hats, a bunch of stuff. So make sure to click the link in the bio and check that out. It really helps us make the content that we want to make for you. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'm not kidding about that, but that wasn't the first thing. The first thing is know your deal breakers. The deal breakers, this is a really general one because they're super specific to each person and the intended use of the car. It could be things as simple as like colors you don't like to more specific stuff like you don't want aftermarket paintwork or you only want a clean title car. When I would drag my dad to go look at cars with me and they ended up being a bust, I would always look at him and say,
"Who the hell would buy that piece of shit?"
His response? What up, Pop?
What's happening, bud?
Nothing, I'm making a video about buying cars. Oh my God, is that Mr. Softy in the background?
Yeah.
Man, what are you gonna get?
Oh, he's all the way over there.
Damn, I'm looking at a milkshake car right now. That's some milkshake era shit.
Yeah, that thing's nice, man. You should get that.
Yo, when we used to go look at cars and they were a bust, I'd always say to you, who would buy that piece of shit? What was your response?
There's an ass for every seat, my boy.
All right, I gotta go.
All right, kiddo.
Later. Damn, they got Mr. Softy just out there. Anyways, what my dad meant by that was that no matter how crappy the car it is to you, it's good for someone else. Everyone has different standards and everyone has different deal breakers. So know your deal breakers. Figure that out before you go look at a car. And the next one is you gotta expand your search because the good deals are never close to home. So sometimes you have to travel for the car that you want, or shipping isn't that expensive, or road trips are fun. So get in the car, take a trip, and go check it out in person. And if you're going for option number 2, then you gotta buy the seller. You gotta trust the person that you're gonna send money to in hopes that they send you a car. Make sure that this person is able to send you decent photos, decent videos, sounds kinda honest, any records. Try to buy the seller, use your discretion there. If someone sounds sketchy, they usually are. Buy the seller. And in my case, I think the seller was super upfront, seemed really honest. So I felt pretty comfortable sending money to him, putting this car on a trailer, getting it shipped to California, and hopefully not getting ripped off. All right, I don't really know if a lot of you guys are gonna love this car. It's not really what you'd expect for this channel, but it is something that I really want and something I absolutely need in my life to get back to my roots and get back to driving. And over the last couple of years, I think I've completely lost any fear of buying cars without seeing them. I've purchased a bunch of top tier level dream cars, most of which I didn't see before they showed up. That doesn't mean that they were all perfect, but I've been pretty fortunate. But this car, this was pretty reckless to not go see before buying. All right, boys and girls, good deals are never around the block. So I found this thing in Vegas. Vegas is a good place for bad decisions. Vegas is pretty close. It's an out and back trip in one day. But as the weeks went by, I just could not find the time to get out there. I thought that this car was a pretty good deal, so I was afraid it would not last on the market. So I went against my better judgment, I paid for it, and had it shipped out here. So this wasn't the original plan for the episode, but I figured a lot of you guys are put in this position when you want to buy a car that isn't close to home. I figured I would take you through my experience of buying something sight unseen, so hopefully I could teach you what to watch out for and how to go through the process. Without further ado, where the hell does this cover start? Oh, I rolled over it. Come on, no! It's just running over the cover! Are you guys as sick of me as I am of myself? And without further ado, This is my new Nissan S15, and it's one of the last JDM Hero cars that I haven't owned yet. And as you guys know, I'm a little bit of a closet 240SX guy. And when I bought my S14 Koki, I wanted to build a drift car, but it was just too pure and too nice, and I was kind of afraid to ruin it. But this is already pre-ruined. It is ready to be destroyed. I'm kidding, but it's already really modded, so like I don't have to worry about ruining it.
Show me why this is better to thrash on than S14.
Okay, easy, right here. They already cut the quarter panels off. This is the point of no return. This part right here makes me not worry about anything on this car. And for me, I struggled a lot on deciding which S15 to buy because I think S15 Spec Rs are, out of the box, the factory aero kit car is incredible. I wouldn't change a thing, and I probably wouldn't want to risk driving it super hard. But this car has a full kit. It has a BN Sports rear bumper, which I don't like, but that's a consumable in drifting and will probably get broken. Because when you find a nice 240SX, it's not crashed, not rusted, not destroyed in many ways. That's a rare find. It's something special, something that you have to keep sacred and maybe pass on to someone else to enjoy. But this is already ruined. I no longer have to worry about it. This is the perfect car for me to get back into drifting and back into enjoying driving because fully repainted, quarter panels already cut off, body kit, fiberglass fenders, fiberglass bumper, aftermarket hood, none of which is sacred anymore. Someone else has ripped the Band-Aid off, and now I could just enjoy it. Does that answer your question? And I know I sound like I'm being negative, but the negative is actually a big positive to me because I need a car that I just could smash on and enjoy. And you know I'm gonna keep it really nice because that's just the way I am. But a car that isn't pure anymore is really freeing to me, and I'm super excited for it. So let me take you through a quick walkthrough of the car before we dig into it. I haven't even put this car up on the lift. I haven't jacked it up. It still has transport ride height. Let's get into it. But first, walk around. For all you guys on the channel who are into the Ferrari side of things and have no idea why or what this thing is, the Nissan S15 is the last iteration of the legendary 240SX. It is a 2,700-pound coupe with a 4-cylinder turbo, a 6-speed, and a factory limited slip. I don't have to explain it too much. This is an icon of a car. This one in particular has a lot done to it. It's already pretty much a fully sorted drift car from Japan. It's got an Origin Type 2 carbon fiber hood. It's got a C-West front bumper, Nismo side skirts, BN Sports rear bumper, Origin fenders, Origin rear overs, Origin roof wing. The outside looks about as expected. I got the seller to send me a lot of pictures and we even got a bunch of videos on it, so the car looks pretty good. But under the hood, it supposedly has a fully built Tomei engine, so let's check it out. This is an SR20 DET notch top. It's the only engine that came in the S15 Spec R, and it's an all aluminum 4-cylinder 2-liter with a turbo. This engine is supposedly fully built, which is something that I was a little bit concerned about because I really do like factory engine cars. The previous owner said it has Tomei cams, pistons, and rods in it, and it has a Power FC ECU, but it's only tuned on the Japanese 98 RON fuel, so apparently you can't really rip on it, which is not only a bummer, but also a little bit of a concern because I'm not exactly sure what goes on in here. So I think we get this thing out on the road, take it for a drive, see how it does, and then we'll come back, put it on the lift, and look at everything else. Sounds sick too.
Oh, and this is not tuned.
Yeah, it's not tuned, so we can't rip on it. It has no blow-off valve, so it has a really cool compressor surge sound. The other thing this car has is it has a Cusco 2-way diff, so when you're making low-speed turns without any load on the drivetrain, it sounds like your car's falling apart.
S15 is like, oh, you want to make me look bad? Nah, son.
Dude, it was...
Nah, son, you can't make S15 look bad.
That.
Oh.
Oh yeah, diff doesn't make noise? Like it gets slappier as it warms up.
Oh my god.
Dude, I love the no blow-off sound. It's so good. We're gonna go pull yours off the
Not hell.
1J right now.
Nope. 4-cylinder turbos are so cool.
But there's just something about like a nice lightweight all aluminum 4-cylinder that's so cool.
Yeah.
Overall, I think this thing drives pretty good, but I'm really curious to see what it looks like under the car because, as you know, Japanese import cars have a big tendency to rust. But I also want to dive into the engine and see what we can see on it because I'd love to know if there's actually Tomei internals in this thing and what we're working with.
I never probed stuff before.
You want to probe my butt?
Nah, not your butt. I want to probe the SR's butt.
You want to know the absolute best part of this car? Yeah, baby.
Dude.
Ice cold AC.
This is why it's probably nice to buy Vegas and Arizona cars.
Because
They
you
need AC.
you cannot live without.
Yeah.
Biggest worry about all these cars that are imported from Japan is rust. I haven't even seen pictures of the underside of this thing, so I'm pretty nervous about what we're gonna find on the bottom side. So first thing is it's really dry under here, which is nice. No oil leaks. I don't see any glaring rust. There is some surface rust here and there, but nothing that's like jumping out at me. It's got a bunch of aftermarket suspension arms. So while looking for rust on the chassis, you should actually do some research prior and see exactly what the problem areas are for the chassis that you're looking for. For example, with Evos, it's the rear frame rails. With Skylines, it's the shock towers. And with these, it's pretty much just the pinch welds and the rear frame rails as well. Kind of take a look all around, and the big thing that a lot of Japanese importers do is they spray the bottom sides of the car black, but luckily, rust eats through that pretty fast. So if it's not brand new repaint, you'll pretty much be able to spot it. It's got some surface rust, but no real major rot. It's got a fence post exhaust, real furry. Back here is a little bit of a surprise. So I glanced through in a photo and I thought it had solid subframe bushings, but it looks like it's actually got subframe spacers with the original, slightly concerning. So it's got a loose subframe spacer or something here. It's got solid diff bushings. I actually didn't realize that these have two-piece drive shafts. Center support bushing looks good. Subframe looks pretty rusty, but not bad. It looks like it's reinforced. It's a braced subframe. It's got some arms in the back. It's got some cheap coilovers. But overall, not too bad. The underside of the car actually looks pretty good. I didn't have any sort of pictures or documentation of the car before buying it because the owner didn't have a lift. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised. It all looks pretty neat, pretty tidy, no surprises. The one thing I am really worried about though is when I drove it, it had like a misfire issue going on, and I know it could be because of the tune, but I think it could be a lot of other things. So the part I was most concerned about is under the hood. So let's dig into it. We got to give a big thank you to LevRack. So we got a full LevRack system, which is super cool. This isn't organized yet. We've been out of town, but pretty much we could store all of our stuff in here. And what I love about it is actually that we have some ability to store on top of it too. So LevRack is actually gonna send us some 10-foot beams here. So this could go all the way to the wall and we could have the tire machine and the balancer under it. I think it's a pretty cool way to store all of our cool wheels up top, some seats, like bumpers, things like that. It's great because we need to keep things like off the floor, but also like when we're shooting here, I really want it to look like nice, clean, and tidy. So thank you so much, LevRack. I want to see if this thing has a built motor. So first thing we're going to do is a compression test because that's really simple. But then right here is something I've never used before, which is a bore scope. But what I want to do is take this little camera and stick it down into the engine and see if it's got Tomei rods and pistons in it. I don't think we'll be able to see the pistons, but if we go up through the oil pan, we should be able to take a look at the rods and hopefully we can tell that they're not stock. So let's see what we can find.
All right.
This thing is sick.
Look at that little ass thing.
Look at you.
Wait, your big ass paws is blocking me. This is tight. Okay, yeah, probe this shit.
What's up, guys? Oh, dude. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode.
This is not for science at all. This is just curiosity.
Yeah, we could pull the valve cover off in 2 seconds and check the cams, but look at that, there's a cam right there. Is it gonna say Tomei on it? Oh, dude, damn, I don't think we're gonna get to see the cams because it's a little too tight if you could see any branding on them.
Damn, this is pretty cool.
Sick ass fool. But one of the reasons why I actually picked this car over something else is that I actually felt pretty comfortable buying someone's project car that was like mostly stock format. I mean, it's got a stock placement engine and transmission, factory clutch fan, factory fuse box, all the AC, all the components here, kind of unfucked with. It's just sort of bolt-ons and exterior mods and like suspension and driveline stuff, which I'm all pretty comfortable with. The more custom things get, the more creative solutions that people might have came up with. So it's harder to track down things that have been changed and maybe aren't done exactly the way they should be or the way you would know. So buying a project car where like most of it's just bolt-ons isn't really that scary, at least to me. Looking good. I'm just looking for consistency throughout. Like if a motor's a little worn, you'll see slightly lower compression numbers, but you're really looking for like inconsistency. So if one is 120 and one is 80, that's a problem. If one reads 0, that's a problem. You're really just kind of seeing if everything is in line. Nice-oo. Good SR. Curiosity killed the cat. I'm fucking curious. I want to see if it's a built motor, you don't know what's going on in there. I want to see everything it's got going on inside. Oh, there it is. Tomei cams.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks clean though. Very nice. Come on, I had to know. Cause like, it really sets the tone. Cause if you pop the valve cover off and you're like, the engine looks crusty and there's no cams in it, you're like, all right, well, I got duped. So what else is there gonna be? So some of the maintenance items that we're gonna handle are just stuff that we're doing because we're in there. While doing the compression check, we have the spark plugs out. It's a cheap, easy thing to swap over to new spark plugs. Also, because I wanted to bore scope the engine from the oil pan like an idiot, which netted no result, I decided to fill it up with my go-to Pennzoil Platinum oil. The oil that came out of the engine looked pretty clean, but I don't know what it was. I don't know when it was last done, so it's easy insurance to just swap it out to new Pennzoil. Overall, I'm really happy with how this engine looks and kind of the car in general, but that doesn't mean that there were a couple surprises along the way, so let's recap. All right, it's time to see just where we landed on the Gamble S15 project car. Okay, so overall, I think that we did pretty well on this car. All things considered, buying a drift car is probably one of the riskiest ones to buy when you have high standards like myself. But did the gamble work out in my favor? I don't really know. But when you look at the numbers, you start to think, maybe not. Obviously, without going there, the seller and I worked out a price without me seeing the car. Then I had to pay a transport fee, which was $600 to get it from Las Vegas to Southern California. And after going through this whole inspection with the car, here's everything that we found wrong with it. So the biggest issue with the car, which we sort of knew about, but might be a little bit more concerning, is the tune. I made some phone calls and I'm gonna have to spend $900 on a tune. Plus the tuner said it's really stupid to not do it with a couple other parts that should go along with it, but that'll be on next episode. The other big thing that I noticed that is kind of crappy, but they still work, the headlights. Aesthetically, they look great, but the tabs being broken off of them and then JB welded back on is sort of a bummer because S15 headlights are really expensive. And lastly is one that's a huge pain in the ass and one that will stop us from really enjoying this car for its intended purpose, which is that blown out subframe bushing. Normally when your subframe bushings go bad, that's when they start adding those isolators in, the spacers, and when those are both bad, it means they are completely toast. The wheel moves a ton when it's on and off load, so the car drives a little bit wonky, and it's a big job to pull the subframe and pull the bushings and swap them out to solid. So I made a call to another shop who quoted me $800 to $1,000, not including parts. And these are things that I would have noticed if I went out there to test drive the car and look at it. So what would I have done in the situation where I went and looked at it? Well, you have two options. The first option is you just pay for the thing and you drive it home because you're already there and you already wasted time on it. That's not really my style. I would have tried my two options, which would have been make a lower offer with your justified points of this is what's wrong with the car that I didn't know about and you didn't disclose, so I'm gonna offer you this. And then the third option, which a lot of you guys, a lot of my friends who asked me to help you buy cars, this is their biggest problem. Are you ready to walk away from it? If I offered $4,000 less and they said no, am I willing to wiggle up? Or do I just leave? I think I would have offered $4,000 less, met somewhere in the middle, and been reasonably unhappy. But instead, I paid $600 more, and now I'm stuck with all the issues. What would you guys have done? Would you have walked away from this car? Would you have paid the full asking price? Or would you have made a lower offer? Let me know in the comments. I feel super happy to have this car, but also a little bummed that I didn't get the best deal. Next episode, we're gonna fix everything wrong with it, and then we're gonna take it out. We're gonna use it for its intended purpose. So it's gonna be a good feel-good episode, a lot of progress, and some visual changes on the car. So make sure to check back next week. Thanks everyone for watching. If you're not, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us. We appreciate it. But for now, we gotta do some planning on this S15.